Hello Commanders and welcome back to Witch Space. So after my dedicated Rescue T7 exploits last week, I really wanted to improve on that ship and the build that I was using to get the most out of the experience, and I honestly think I might have nailed it. If you've seen my previous video on the rescue subject, you'll know that I was eyeballing a Python to pick up some of the slack that was left by the venerable T7. So I tinkered around in the Coriolis ship builder on the web, got something I was happy with on paper. There's a link in the description below if you want to have a look at it, and headed out to try it out. Now my main criteria for the build was as follows. The ship needed to be big enough to capture a lot of escape pods and hold them for a while on extended outings. I didn't really want to be back and forth to the station too much just because it's a waste of time because I'd run out of cargo space or whatever. By the same token, I needed the ship to be nimble enough to comfortably manoeuvre around the megaships. They're all sorts of odd shapes and have lots of sticky out bits that bigger ships could get snagged on, so I needed it to be small enough but also big enough, if that makes sense. Balanced with all of this, it needed to have at least 6 limpets active at one time, not counting the hatch breaker limpet. Close quarters contact with larger vessels also necessitates some minimal shielding. There are also Thargoids at the sites on occasions as well. The ship's by no means is it built for combat, but I did need some shielding to give me a chance to run away if I needed to. As it turned out, that was a really good idea. I won't for one moment claim to be a knowledgeable ship builder. I'll leave that stuff for others who are much better at it. But what I did come up with works really well in my humble opinion and ticks all the boxes that I needed it to do. So here's a quick breakdown of the build. So optional internals. That's the really important stuff. The first 3 slots, which are all class 6, I've got 2 class 6 cargo racks and then a class 6 shield generator. Turns out that was really useful. The next 2 class 5 slots, this is where the collector limpets start, so I've got 2 collector limpets in there. That lets me have 3 collector limpets running from each controller, giving me a total of 6, which was my minimum. Then I've got a cargo rack because I couldn't think of anything to put in there. The hatch breaker limpet, as far as I can figure out, it doesn't need to be anything terribly exciting. I only need to have 1 limpet active at any one time, so I just went with the class 3 and whacked it in there. Then I've got a discovery scanner, just cause, and then I've got a surface scanner, just cause, and of course planetary approach suite. So that's the optional stuff covered. As far as the core internal stuff goes, I just basically had everything in there that I needed to move the damn thing around, and just A-rated it just because, really, just because I could. Doesn't need to be A-rated. The frameshift drive is engineered, but again that's a class 5 A-rated frameshift drive that I had laying around that was engineered, so I thought I might as well use it. But none of it needs to be particularly A-rated, I don't think. And it certainly doesn't need to be engineered. It's really just a workhorse. It goes very short distances once it's at the station it needs to operate from. You go from the station to the target, do the rescue, and back again, and that's it really. So once I'd completed the build, I headed out to the Dekiat system again and to one of the disabled megaships that I'd not visited before actually, which is a Samson class bulk cargo ship. Huge great thing. When I arrived in the area, there was a Thargoid Cyclops interceptor there already doing whatever the hell it is Thargoids do. And shortly thereafter I was joined in the instance by Commander Mighty Atoms as well. At one point I did get a little too close to the Thargoid and it deployed its swarm, but up till that point neither of us had taken any kind of provocative action against it. And it didn't attack at that point, it just looked like it was keen. After it had deployed the swarm and neither of us had attacked it, it did just sit there, literally just sit there, quite close to the megaship actually. I'm not sure if this was intentional behaviour or if it was just bugged. I think it might be the latter, to be honest, but it didn't do anything else, it just sat there. Now, Thargoids have been known to actively scoop up escape pods, and this is behaviour that I've witnessed myself as well, so I was keen to see what would happen if I tried to carry out a rescue. As it turns out, Commander Mighty Atoms was keen to pick a fight with the alien, so I thought it might be interesting to see who the goid would go for if there were rejected pods in the area and a commander also attacking it. Turns out the answer is a little from column A and a little from column B. As soon as the Thargoid was attacked by the brave Commander Atoms, it dispensed with my shields in short order and got my hull down to 63%, which forced me to hightail it back into Super Cruise. Once my shields were back, I headed into the instance again and started hacking and scooping up survivors while the brave Commander Atoms kept the goids' attention. And the good news as a result of these efforts is that I managed to get everyone out of the ship. The bad news is that Commander Atoms will be getting his medal posthumously. So as far as the dedicated rescue ship goes, hopefully the footage that I'm showing you here is enough to convince you of the value of it. Frankly, I adore this Python. For my money, it really excels in the role that I designed it for. But I'm keen to know what your thoughts are. Do you want a dedicated rescue ship? Have you got a dedicated rescue ship? And if so, what ship would you or are you using? Let me know in the comments below. As I've said before, I think it's a shame that the rescue mechanic doesn't have a mission associated with it from the mission boards at the moment. I think it would really add value to it. But at least at the very least, the mechanic as is at the moment is really enjoyable, and I'd absolutely recommend giving it a punt if it appeals to you. That's it for now. My sincere thanks to Commander Mighty Atoms for keeping the intruder busy while I scooped. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps. I'll be back later this week with more videos. So thanks for watching. Follow the greens on the way out, and we'll see you next time.